Hey people. So, I've kind of been putting this particular video off. Um, if you haven't noticed, I had a video, which was a rant on sex, about sex, and I got some criticism. Some of it justified, some of it misunderstanding. But I had a major issue with it. And I am talking to the person who left the comments. So this is not to be meant to be taken personally by them. But the concept that in any way, shape, or form I would think that the concept of rape, a la rape culture, would be okay is massively not understanding of who and what I am, or what it is that I tout on this channel. Sex culture and rape culture, for me, are two completely different things. BDSM culture and rape culture are two very different things. The primary thing being consent, which that was another thing that was brought up in the comments. And if you scroll back through the videos on my channel, and I'm going to be doing another video about the topic, I am a huge proponent of safe words. I am a huge proponent of negotiation. I am a huge proponent of conversation. These are things that rape culture, as portrayed by the modern feminist movement, seems to think that we in the BDSM community, consensual BDSM play, consensual master-slave relationships, primarily they go after the straight male having a straight female slave or submissive, and that of course we're misogynist, and we're bad, and we're evil because we look at women, in specific ways. For me personally, this argument is creating a straw man argument, saying that all men are like this, and therefore all men in the BDSM community are like this. And that's very far from the truth. Yes, what we do is highly sexual. And having been exposed to it for as long as somebody like me has, I see people in very different lights. Very different ways. When I see a female walking the street, do I see her as an object? No, she is a person. Are there attributes about her physical appearance which are stimulating to me? Possibly. It depends on the particular woman. Not all women because they may not have attributes that appeal to me. Therefore, there's no way I could objectify anything about them. And for the ones that I do find something appealing and attracting about them, does that make them as human beings an object, therefore objectification? No. Just because you have a nice pair of breasts, and I appreciate a very nice pair of breasts, or you have a very nice pair of, of buttocks, or you have nice long legs, or you have beautiful eyes, or you have amazing hair. These are objects. These are things, components of a woman, that if they are in a particular way, they are attractive to me. Does that mean that I immediately think that's all a woman is a pair of breasts or an ass? No. But you can't deny that those things exist. Now, I put the women I'm around in several different categories, and I treat them as such. My mother, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom's friends, my dad's friends, neighbors, anybody who is in that category, I don't even think about. Even if they have a desirable trait, I immediately block them out. Complete strangers, I can enjoy who they are and what they are. But is that objectification? No. And then the third group are women that I have the ability to play with. And in that group, I am very much going to be highly sexual with them. I very much am going to objectify them, because this is something that they have agreed to. And that's the key element that these feminists don't understand, is that the women I am doing this with have agreed to have this done to them, done with them, done for them. And yes, there are times where, when I am doing what I do, being a dominant male in that position of either being their dom or being their master, there are times where I am doing things for them. And it's not just they're just under my thumb doing everything I tell them to, regardless. And that's not how this works. These women choose, and due to talking to them, communicating with them, finding out their real, true needs, wants, and desires, the things that make them tick as human beings that happen to be female, I provide them with this. And do I get things in return? Very much so. But it's an equal trade. If they weren't enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, then why are we doing it? But the simple fact that I, as a dominant male, am treating these women in this manner is obviously me objectifying them, me not caring about them as human beings, me seeing them as simply a piece of meat. And that's utter bullshit. For me, now, you gotta keep in mind that this is mostly my opinion here. This is not me trying to explain the community, because every dominant male out there, every dominant male, heterosexual dominant male, even though I do consider myself heteroflexible, but that's not relevant. That's not relevant to this conversation, because most of the time, most of the people I play with are women. That just me merely doing what I do, I am promoting rape culture. That I am promoting the concepts that being the dominant and just doing what you want and not apologizing after you have had the conversations, after you've had the discussions, after you've tested the waters, you've put things out there to see their reaction, you do things over and over and over just to see how they will react, in a positive way and a negative way. If they act in a positive way, then you know you can pursue that line more. If they happen to be in a negative way, then you know that that's probably not a good line to touch, or it's something that you need to work with them on so they can get comfortable, because it's actually something they want to do. I spend massive amounts of time with every person that I play with. And right now I'm playing with 4 or 5, depending on if the person's free, between 4 and 5 individuals on all different levels. Some just as a top, some is their dom, some is their master, some is a friend who gets to, some is a friend who plays with them occasionally. And all of these women, all of the people that are in my life, all the people who are just starting to come into my life, people who have been in my life for a long time, all of these human beings, we sat and we've talked, we've discussed. And I make it very clear, if you don't like it, then you can stop me. If you don't like it, then we can just stop talking. You have the right to say no to me. Maybe not those exact words, but this is what safe words are for. What we do is so much more complicated than any of the simple generalizations about what we do can conceive of. It's not like I just tell them to do things to tell them to do things. There are reasons for these things. Some of it will come back to me in the ability to have amazing sex and amazing playtimes. And that's awesome. That's amazing. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. But I also spend so much other time getting to know them, getting to find out what makes them tick, to give them orders and directions that help them in their lives, to become happier human beings, to become more comfortable with what it is they've chosen to do. And for somebody out there to honestly believe that what we do promotes rape culture. I mean, I saw a thing that said, I was watching the video where 50 Shades of Grey was held up as an example of what BDSM is about. And it nearly sickened me. 50 Shades of Grey is probably, as I was talking to a female dom friend of mine, we had this discussion, and it is probably one of the most horrible examples of what BDSM is. But the thing is that even in that horrible example, because basically she's a Sam, smart ass masochist. even though she's a Brad and a Sam and all of those things, he's a horrible master. He's horrible at this. But the thing about it is, the forms that he had her sign, the contracts, and I have a whole a separate video on that, and how I think they're absolutely worthless. I mean, they have some validity in certain context, but for the most part, they're pretty much worthless. She had the ability to say no. She had the ability to say, too much for me, I'm out. But that's not what happened. And that's not what happens in most BDSM relationships. We, as a community, if we find somebody who is breaking consent, someone who is lying and hurting people, we shun them completely. We make it very clear they are not welcome, and we will either inactively or actively do everything we can to make sure you do not get access to another human being to do this evil thing that you want to do to them. We're not going to be able to stop you all the time, but we are going to do our damnedest. The community does that. The community actively is on the lookout for people doing things that break consent. But does the community get credit for that? No. Does the community get credit for being realistically what the highest ideals of what the original feminist community wanted, which is the ability for women to be who they be and what they want to be? No. And they seem to kind of only pick on people that are like me. They go after me as a straight male. But yet, what about the straight females who are topping straight males? Where's your war chant for that? And what about females who dominate other females? Where's your war cry for that? How horrible that a woman would want to dominate another woman. How horrible. Don't hear that. How horrible that a woman would want to dominate a man. Actually, for a lot of them, that's their fantasy, is to be able to have a man be subservient to them. This is not all. This is a small group who fantasize about it, but yet can't see the flip side about that. That if they enjoy dominating another human being, whether it's female or male, how could they then turn around and be aggressive towards somebody who does the same thing they do, just happens to be of the opposite sex? We're aggressive when we can. We're loving. We're caring. We're all of the things that you don't think we are. And we are all the things you think we are. We can be mean and cruel and sadistic. We can use women in ways that would make most porn producers blush. And we don't bat an eye. We don't even think about it. We don't even concern ourselves about it, because we know the one little secret that they have a tendency to avoid, which is we have consent. Anybody who thinks that the BDSM culture promotes violence against women and has no clue what we do. If you think that we encourage in any way, shape, or form any kind of molestation of people, of raping of people, then you obviously have no idea what we do. We take the emotional needs, wants, and desires, and our emotional needs, wants, and desires, and we find people who match us. And for everybody who's not part of that group, we don't even care about you. We don't think about you. When I'm sitting eating a steak and I see over there someone else has a steak, do I get jealous of their steak? No. Because my steak's awesome. My steak is amazing. I get to get over here and grab a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of A1 sauce, grabbing my knife, and it's this amazing steak. And the guy over there might have the exact same fucking steak, but my steak is awesome. And I could really give a fuck about him and his steak. That's how I look at most women. Yeah, I can look at his steak and go, hey, that looks like a really nice steak. But that's it. I don't care. And this is the way that most of the people in the community are. If you're a vanilla female, you have nothing to offer me. If you are a woman who has a submissive tendency in some way, shape, or form that I can enjoy and use in a way that would be enjoyable for you, then you have something to offer me. And most of the women who are out there screaming this are not people that anybody in the community would have any desire to deal with in the first place. This subject is one that I have been thinking about for a long time. This is a subject that has constantly, when it has been brought to my attention, pissed me off. And I didn't want to make this video. I really have been avoiding this video. I have been pondering this video for weeks. And whether the person I am speaking to, who wrote those comments, and who I have sent since we are corresponding via email, this is not me being mad at you. This is not me being upset at you. This is me simply saying that I cannot, in any way, shape, or form, put myself in a position where even the concept of me saying or doing something that somebody could conceive as me promoting rape culture, I can't even put myself within a mile's distance of that. Everything we do, everything I think, deals with consent. And something that somebody had brought up to me and I thought was an absolute bullshit argument was, well, if you're staring at a woman's breast, where's the consent in that? Just because I like the look of the car doesn't mean I have to buy it. But if you put the top down on that car, and I can walk over to it, and I can look in and check out the dashboard, and I can check out the passenger's compartment, I can check the back seat, and I can look. I'm going to look. That doesn't mean that I think that, I think any less of it. No. I appreciate the aesthetic value of it. The exact same thing is true with women. When a woman dresses in a sexual manner, she is giving the consent to be stared at. And some people will get upset at me saying that. But that's the fact. If you don't want me looking at your ass, don't wear a tight skirt. That if it was an inch more, I would see a lot more of you. If you don't want me to look. If you don't want me staring at your breasts, don't wear a shirt that the cut is so low that I can see your freaking navel button, and the only part of your breasts which aren't being shown are the nipples. Then don't wear that shirt. Women who have said to me that, oh, well, just because I want to dress sexy doesn't mean anything. I should be able to dress that way and not have to worry about being objectified by men. Bullshit. You know why you're wearing it. But does that mean that by me thinking this, that I would ever think about, oh, she was wearing a short skirt and a low-cut top, and so she was inviting me to go and rape her? No. No, not in any way, shape, or form. When a woman is dressed sexy, she's like a fine piece of art. She has spent the time and energy to pick out the clothes, to put on the makeup, to do up her hair, to wear the right size heels, or to wear heels at all, to wear stockings, to wear whatever. That's like a fine piece of art. And I'm enjoying it on that level. I know I can't go and touch it because I'm not being invited to. But you know why you're wearing the clothes. You know why you're wearing the skirts almost up, all the way up. And to say anything different it would be just a lie. Just a flat out lie. If you didn't want, guys looking, then why wear a skirt? Oh, I just feel more comfortable. Like, bullshit. Wear some shorts. You could wear a skirt down to your knees and, a little flowy number, and it's not going to be, guys aren't going to be staring at your ass like you would if you wore a tight-skin leather skirt. You may not like that idea, but that's a simple fact. That's just the truth of the situation. But in no way, shape, or form, even if that is your point, does that mean that I or anybody else in my community would ever conceive of saying, oh, because she's wearing that, she's available to be raped? Bullshit. What we do is highly sexualized. What we do from start to end is sexualized. Even if no sex ever actually happens. Even if it's just baseline service. Showing up at my house, doing my laundry, cleaning my bathroom, vacuuming my floors. There's still some sexual gratification in that. It fulfills a need that exists in the realm of sexuality. all the way up to the point where it's nothing but about sex. It's all about the sex. No other play happens, no other concepts happen, no other things happen except for she wants to be used by him. And that's it. And that should be the end of the conversation. But no, you want to bring it into this realm of having to put things into existence that we don't believe. You want to put this out there in a way that makes us look like the bad guys. Instead of actually going, oh, these women are enjoying it, good. Let's applaud them for making a decision that makes them happy and standing back and leaving them alone. Instead, you want to shame them. You want to make them feel horrible. But you're not doing that to the female doms, are you? Are you doing that to the male subs? Both gay and straight? Are you doing that to the male, the male doms that are, using other men? Are you shaming those people? No, you're not. No. You're shaming the ones who decide that they want to be in the company of a male dominant. And you were sitting there saying that we're bad and evil, and we're, what was it? One there she was talking about 50 Shades of Grey, that there's 3 books. We should write a 4th book, because at the end of the book, she's going to wind up in a battered woman shelter, and she's going to having to raise his kids, and no. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. And that was from a Gail Dines, I believe. I might be completely wrong here, but because it's way too late at night and it's too comfortable right now. But the fact is, that's not what we do. That's not who we are. And for somebody or anybody out there to claim that BDSM culture is a gateway or is itself rape culture, it's pathetic. Because you're not actually doing any homework. You're not talking to the individuals. You don't care. You've already made up your mind. You've already made a choice to believe something that doesn't exist. You're believing something on faith rather than facts. You're not taking the time or energy to actually talk to or study or learn anything about who or what we are. Instead, you just read what is out there, what a select group of hardcore feminists are saying, and make us look like to be the bad, evil guys. We're not. We're human beings. When I do what I do, I care about these individuals, even if all they do is things that are sexual for me. And pretty much every dominant I know is exactly like me on that regard. We love and care for our girls. We want to see them happy. Because if they're happy, then they will want to make us happy. Is that selfish? Everything you do in life is selfish. Everything you do in life is self-serving. And if you can get that idea through your head, then guess what's going to happen? A lot of this stuff makes a lot more sense. But instead, you're going to read what they say and just keep repeating it over and over and not actually understand what it is you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've been doing this since I was 18. I am 40 now. You can do the math. I spent my first 2 years under the tutelage of a woman. I have had multiple female dom friends who were both straight and gay. I have had lots of women in my life. Mostly good, some bad. I have been through relationships where it was abusive, and not from my end. I have been in relationships where it was toxic, where it was mutually toxic. I have had relationships that were awesome and amazing and were gone in a week. I've had relationships that have lasted for decades, and I'm still friends with them. I may not talk to them for long periods of time, but every time I do. And I play with them, and I have fun with them. And then they go back to their lives, and I go back to my life. You don't know who we are. You don't know what we are. But yet you can persist on putting out these arguments that are totally not fact-based. If someone wants to talk to me, not hard to find. You can PM me here. You can find me on the website FetLife, vetlife.com. Search for MasterHook. Send me a message. I'm more than happy to talk to you. We can talk by email. We can talk over Skype. We can talk over Yahoo. Whatever you want. You can do Google+. If you want to throw me in a debate, I'm more than happy to have it. You want to throw me in to the deep end of the pool to see if I can swim, bring it on. I've done this way too much. I've done this, lived in this culture for the majority of my life, for over half of my existence on this planet. I understand it in such deep, deep, deep ways that you will never understand anything about your own culture. You want to find me, you want to debate me, here I am. Bottom line, BDSM, consensual master-slave relationships, consensual dominant submissive relationships, the culture in general does not in any way, shape, or form justify rape culture.